得不管对手是谁吧，我希望自己都能够发挥出自己的水平，然后 enjoy。
然后我觉得近期，因为我跟朱雨玲今天也是打了好几次了，然后前面2次都输了，所以希望今天晚上能够在技战术和过程上能够有一个更好的这种表现和发挥吧。
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ITTF Uncle Pop Women's World Cup, coming to you live from Markham, Canada. I'm your commentator, Adam Bobrow, and this is the championship match. And right there is seed number 2, LIU Shiwen, world rank number 4, 26 years old, has never lost a match at the Women's World Cup. She's a 4-time title holder of the Women's World Cup, and she's looking at her 5th title to be the very first to ever take 5 Women's World Cups. This would be an amazing feat over Zhang Yining and Wang Nan, 2 legends of table tennis, considered to be 2 of the greatest 3 of all time. But her opponent, ZHU Yuling, is the top seed, world rank number 2, and a very, very challenging opponent indeed. Ingrid Bogren there, from Sweden. You can see on screen, will be officiating. Quick handshake, it is all business for these 2. I've had a chance to talk to both of them throughout the week here in Markham, Canada. And I will tell you, there are no players here more focused than these 2. The pressure on both of them to bring home this title. Now remember, ZHU Yuling's history, 2015, almost lost to Georgina Pota of Hungary after winning 4 straight games to get through it. Managed to get through, and then eventually lost in the quarterfinals to Li Jiao. As you can see, you can connect with us. ITTF.com, an outstanding website for table tennis lovers all over the world. From the ITTV full matches to the history, statistics, articles, and everything else. And there are excellent articles from our writers right there on ITTF.com. Hashtag ITTF World Cup for all your sharing with your friends on social media. And at ITTF World on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. I follow all the social media that I'm on, and I will tell you, it's an outstanding channel to follow. Also on YouTube, got the official ITTF YouTube channel for highlights, interviews, and everything else. All sorts of entertainment off the table, and Ask a Pro Anything to get to see the more fun side of the players. We'll see if one of these players might be the Ask a Pro Anything Player of the Week at this tournament. Let's find out. I guess the question is, who's going to win the match? ZHU Yuling with their powerful spin shots from behind the table? Or is it going to be LIU Shiwen with her quick strokes? Very fast, efficient style of play, heavy spin from in near the table. Only a quarterfinal result when you're world rank number 3 is definitely underwhelming and leaves a lot to be desired for ZHU Yuling. I was actually in the practice hall when she had her lecture after the match. She played against Georgina Pota. She had 3 coaches standing around her as she was sitting, getting, I'd say, a good half an hour of lecture, private lecture from 3 of the great minds in table tennis. LIU Shiwen has definitely had her hardships as well from 2010 at the World Team Championships against the Singaporean women. Feng Tian Wei has been the thorn in the side of LIU Shiwen over the years. Very interesting relationship indeed. But once again, with no Feng Tian Wei here, on the way here, LIU Shiwen has not met her match. If anyone can challenge her, no one's taken a game yet, but ZHU Yuling will be the greatest rival she will face in this tournament. Last match of the entire tournament, and the winner takes all. The gold medal, the cup, and $45,000. There it is, right into the body. LIU Shiwen's so fluid there to let the arm drag behind, mislead ZHU Yuling to move out to the forehand.
Let one love.
fly swat there. Seems like ZHU Yuling got it.
Love 2.
Solid start for the 4-time Women's World Cup champion. Again, this is a best-of-7 match. First player to win 4 games. Wow, that's hit hard. We saw some outstanding points in the last match, but that early in this match, as soon as a flat one comes in, the opening right here, slapped back and slapped back once again for a winner. ZHU Yuling's reaction time is fast, but LIU Shiwen's even faster. Oh, no chance here. If ZHU Yuling wins this point, blitzing the table like that, that would have gone down as one of the great points, maybe the #1 point of this tournament. Chasing it once, fishing this next one. Clever idea, but just no idea where the ball was going to go. Now, I've seen strong starts before, and it's still too early in the match to tell. Still too early in the game. Only 5 points have been played, but 100% of them belong to the woman in red, LIU Shiwen. Already a legend in table tennis, mega famous throughout China and the world of table tennis. But she will go down on the books as a record holder if she takes this match. Oh, top edge of the racket from behind the table. A bit of topspin to help out ZHU Yuling from off. A lot of people ask, how do I lob better when I'm way behind the table? How can I be effective? Not even a lob, just sort of a fishing shot, keeping it on the table with heavy topspin, as heavy as she can get without a full racket stroke. And it makes the ball jump away from the net. Dignitaries and VIPs on the lush couches behind that Polar Naturals sign. Could see them up and clapping. So 2 points in a row, the first 2 for ZHU Yuling. Really turning it up a bit in terms of pace. While she got 1 point from behind the table, the backhand to set it up and then covering the middle. It's interesting, I think she did leave an opening on the forehand side. LIU Shiwen's gonna miss it from time to time. But when she's confident, when she's comfortable, and a break off the top of the net. You know, nets and edges can be frustrating for the players, but from the last match, both players had some really exciting points that the crowd was thrilled to see off the top of the net. And just the same here, adding a little bit of tension, keeping the ball in play, changing up the rhythm here. Oh, murderous forehand. Even cross court, that's not an easy shot, but to play it down the line, a parallel winner. Low, deep on the table. How does that happen? How can you be that confident to even take that shot? So 4 points in a row from ZHU Yuling. Oh, back edge of the table for LIU Shiwen. Now, maybe I misheard it. Was it the top of the net? Doesn't seem to be making a fuss here. I thought that caught the back edge of the table.
Play, please.
Okay. I think LIU Shiwen's saying, I don't know what she's saying. Sore back, sore neck? Bra strap issue? Yeah, I think so. I can tell you from experience that can be annoying. Maybe. Interesting. Just a twist? Well, there are special bras for sports. Have to imagine might be used. Now that's the question. That's the replay that I wanted to see. I don't know. So as the wardrobe malfunction gets fixed, the score seems to be set at 5 points apiece. But that wasn't the conversation. The conversation wasn't about this shot coming down. I'm still curious. For your interest right here, let's look. That, wow. It's so tough to tell without the sound, but I heard something, and it looked like the trajectory changed ever so slightly. Sometimes things even get past the players in a full stadium. Look how full the stadium is here. It's really been an electric crowd, and I'm not just saying that because they're all blinking with their blue electric bracelets, but just the arena has such a good energy, and the players both want this so bad. After an exit in 2015 in the quarterfinals for ZHU Yuling, now the top seed, she has a lot to prove, and LIU Shiwen has a chance to go down as LIU Shiwen, the Women's World Cup 5-time record holder. So exciting, fans all around. Standing next to me right now, a close friend of ZHU Yuling, her practice partner for this tournament. So as the rackets are left on the table, I don't know what this goes down as. I don't see LIU Shiwen anywhere in the arena right now. I guess this is the type of thing, you've got a medical timeout for an injury, 10 minutes. Wardrobe adjustment is the term. That I guess is what people use in the professional sporting world. And there's the look at the cup they are playing for. The Women's World Cup, well labeled right behind it. It's been around, what, 1996? The first Women's World Cup. This should be the 21st edition, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of legends to take that cup. 4 times for Wang Nan, 4 times for Zhang Yining. And I just got some very private information that I'm sure you'd love to know, but I'm not allowed to say it on the air. Man, why would you do this to us, Adam? Well, my Facebook friends and Instagram friends are going to be messaging me, but I will tell you, I think I predicted it pretty well before in terms of the, in quotes, wardrobe malfunction, to keep it general. So ZHU Yuling is back. That must mean that LIU Shiwen is soon to follow, and LIU Shiwen on court. We don't see her blushing too much. I think in the emoji video that was released on the official ITTF YouTube channel, she made the big smiley face, and ZHU Yuling, her opponent, made the X'd out O face. This is the second time I've seen a point, and it was actually with ZHU Yuling before, where I thought ZHU Yuling won the point against Mo Zhang of Canada, and there was no fuss made. So tied up, 5 points each it is. Oh, and a service error right back. Karma. Is that table tennis karma from the point before? I know a lot of hobby players will say, well, I guess it did hit the edge before, if something like that happens. Backhand to backhand, the timing of both of these players. Again, the Chinese national team, the masters of timing, taking the ball so early off the bounce. You get such a clear demonstration of that here. Second towel break of the game. Now, both of these players have cute towels. Don't think that's a coincidence, but it is very important nonetheless. As wide as it comes, corner to corner, just wasn't enough to get ZHU Yuling off her rocker and off balance. But watch the finishing shot. That one might have even exited the side of the table. We got friends writing me asking about the secret fun fact. Say it's Adam's secret, not Victoria's, although that could lead to some sponsorship deals in the future. Let's see. So point for point, very even game one here. Remember, LIU Shiwen was leading 5 points to 0. Looked like one-way traffic. Were we going to see a 4-0 sweep? I don't know. Hair clipped back into place. No distractions on the forehead. Way behind the table, too much ground to cover. A lot of people saw the exhibition point with Elisabetta Samara, the exhibition points, where LIU Shiwen was playing against the lobs. Thought maybe LIU Shiwen had trouble, and I will tell you, when it's not an exhibition point, I don't think LIU Shiwen is going to have much trouble holding back and taking the points. Not with ZHU Yuling that far behind the table. Although height is not on her side. Against lobs, if you're a little bit taller, it will give you an advantage, be more comfortable. Back edge of the table, ZHU Yuling. Oh, this is interesting. This is really interesting. ZHU Yuling's right. LIU Shiwen chode for a moment, I thought. Interesting, and she quickly says, okay. Man, that might have even caught less of the edge than the one that I thought hit the edge that nobody else did. And as always, I could be wrong, often am. Right there, back edge of the table.
9-8.
So from 10-7 to 9-8. It's not just 1 point, it's a point off of your score and to your opponent.
9-all.
Sharing is caring. The last few points have been shared right back. Third towel break of the game, and they're dead even. Trying to listen who the Jaios are for. Okay, so the cheerleader. Ooh. This can't be more than a 45-55. It's about 50-50 here in the audience. And ZHU Yuling all the way back. What could have been 7-10. 3 game points against ZHU Yuling was quickly turned around, and now it's a game point for ZHU Yuling from down 0-5 at the start of this match. More specifically this game, game 1 will be very important for ZHU Yuling to take. It'll be the first game that LIU Shiwen has lost in this entire tournament.
Play, please.
Spin shot down the middle of the table, saves the game point. LIU Shiwen looking at possibly a flawless cup. Well, if you're here in the stadium listening to this, please make sure you're walked to your car. Crowd getting a bit excited about their player. Oh, that forehand so wide in the touch game. LIU Shiwen lets that one just a little bit loose, and ZHU Yuling recognizes room for a full stroke. Look how quickly ZHU Yuling recognizes that ball's gonna leave her the room she needs for this backswing and that over-the-table contact. Much easier said than done. Game point back to ZHU Yuling, the top seed. Inside out, hits the back edge of the table. Wow, I thought it did, but I was trying to read the body language because the call that I had before was not the right call according to everyone else. Watch this, inside out forehand. That one's clear from this angle. Wow, in the heat of the moment, I think a lot of people didn't see this, but the quick chow. Typically you apologize for that, but that's how much this point means.
Let 11-all.
Sometimes the passion, the heat of the moment, simply a reaction, and then after that you raise the hand. One more look at that edge ball, boom, right into your right kneecap. Speedy Gonzalez of Chinese table tennis. This is illegally fast reaction time, and the ball, how does the ball not crack in the middle of this point? Stepped around. Throughout this tournament, I've been saying LIU Shiwen does not get pushed back off the table, but if one person can do it, it's that person right there, ZHU Yuling. After saving 2 game points, it's game point back to LIU Shiwen. finish it. Liu Shiwen still flawless, has not dropped a game. Talk about living on the edge, saves 2 game points and wins game 1, 13-11, takes back what she had started, 5-0, and then down 9-10. What an exciting top level game 1 in this best of 7. No coaches in the corners because they're from the same national association. But between Chung Bin and Li Swin, they are both very well prepared to be at the top of their game tonight. Let's see what happens. Just a minute in the corners and some highlights here for you to enjoy, and we'll be back for game 2 right after that.
I'm really happy this event is held in Canada this year. Right now we are ping pong, table tennis, central. All the action is happening here. Much more action to come as we proceed into game 2. I'm having a good time. I don't know about you.
So the players don't have to use the full minute, and without a coach in the corner, often they won't. Keeping their focus coming back. They're both back at the table as Liu Shiwen clears the table to make sure that they're only honest bounces. No particles left on the table. Says, wait a minute, okay, now I'm ready. ZHU Yuling to start with the serve.
Love 1.
And when we think about nets and edges, we saw a lot of that with Chung Yi-ching versus Miu Hirano, but some of the most controversial edge balls, the very end of game 1, we'll see. See if it comes down to the end of the match, where we have such edge balls as well. Wow, surprise backhand whizzes past. Now it's not a coincidence, by the way, that there are so many edge balls late in game 1. This is a combination of factors. You've got 2 very low trajectory, I'd say, styles of play right now. Both players trying to keep the ball low to the net and also trying to keep it deep on the table to push the opponent back. Fast long serve, the boldness pays off. ZHU Yuling trying a bold receive as well. If she plays that softly, the third ball, it's going to be no problem for Liu Shiwen.
Net 2, 1.
Now, Liu Shiwen is known not for her big strokes, but for her short strokes. Even there, the amount of speed she generated coming into that ball, that comes down on the table. It's going to be trouble. This is what's great about watching 2 of the best players in the world. Liu Shiwen can hit a shot that's almost unparalleled out here, and ZHU Yuling can often keep it in play. A little bit off the top of the net again, but that parallel shot from the backhand. Liu Shiwen stepping back into the lead. Fans in the front row getting excited to catch a ball that could be a ball in the history of table tennis that will go down as one of the great dates for women's table tennis. But it really does depend on the outcome of this match. Breathing the chalk, the dust off the outside of the ball. Some players wiping it in their sweaty shirt, rolling it around in their pocket. Dmitry Ovtcharov putting the ball in his mouth.
4-2.
Not too common we see a point end this way. Love to see that again. I'm sort of curious about the contact on that. At the first towel break of the game, it's a 4-2 lead, and thank you for the replay. Top of the net. Ooh. That's unusual. Normally a player would check their racket for a wet mark after the ball goes straight down like that with such a heavy topspin shot coming in. Now, in the case of a wet ball, it is the responsibility of the server to make sure the ball is dry. If you lose the point with a wet ball, leaving a wet mark on your racket, and you are the server, too bad. Your responsibility. If the opponent's serving and that happens, they'll replay the point. Short to the forehand pays off, outright service point. Now, as much of a lead as LIU Shiwen has, she was up even more last game, 5-0. And ended up being down, I guess I should say, 9-10. Wasn't a perfect sentence. Oh, inside out forehand here.
6.
Drying the palm off, wiping the sweat off near the net. That shovel serve, while Miu Hirano has really made it quite famous, I'd say the women of the Chinese national team were the ones who really initiated and made it quite popular to start. Very common tactic that's been very effective throughout the Chinese Super League and on the World Tour.
7-3.
But again, LIU Shiwen in the driver's seat at the back of the table, in control. And no matter who you're rooting for right now, LIU Shiwen or ZHU Yuling, it's quite exciting no matter what happens in this match, because if LIU Shiwen wins 4-0, she didn't drop a single game.
7-4.
But as always, going to game 7 can be a real thrill. Second towel break of the game, and it's an 8-4 lead for LIU Shiwen. Now my Mandarin's just so I'm going to try to get a translation on that. Sounded like it was actually English, just started with LIU Shiwen. Now counter to cover the middle. Wow. We saw Zhang Yiqing get power from the crowd. This one sits up a little bit. Flat shot covering the middle. Coming back in, we've seen the momentum shift. ZHU Yuling again. Last game showing she can come back, but not enough to steal the game. This is a big point. This was around the time of the timeout for Zhang Yiqing against Miu Hirano. It's a very pivotal point in the game in terms of momentum, and that could be nerves. I don't see LIU Shiwen drop the ball too much. Oh, deep serve to the backhand side. Right after dropping the ball, plays a bold serve. Now this is a very interesting thing that I've noticed. Sometimes a player who's nervous playing a risky serve actually does better than trying to play a safe serve, because they mentally prepare to throw caution to the wind a little bit. Tough to say. I know it seems counterintuitive. It's not going to work every time. But they do say, what, luck favors the bold, the brave. This is something that the world-class athletes know all about. When to take chances, how to not regret or look back. Easier said than done sometimes. People getting so close to a title. Deep push.
7-10.
Now LIU Shiwen has generated a lot of spin in the past. It was game 1 where we thought she had 10-7 and the score was turned back. That's such a funny response. Two slow ZHU Yuling Jiaos and then LIU Shiwen Jiao. 1 game point saved. Third towel break of the game, and ZHU Yuling the first one to the towel. It always amazes me how the players can be so focused on the match at hand and still find themselves at the towel box in a heartbeat. I love it. 2 game points left for LIU Shiwen.
net 10-8. Net 10-8.
Now, if you're new to table tennis, there's no limit to the amount of lets a player can serve. In theory, LIU Shiwen can do that forever if she would live forever. Oh, a big point here in the backhand-to-backhand exchange. It's 11-8, a 2-0 lead. Still a flawless tournament, not a game dropped. LIU Shiwen has her eyes set on that cup, but more importantly, she has it set on every game, the next game, and every point, the next point. But she'll be in the corner now, coachless. And as both players figure out their tactics for game number 3, it's going to be an uphill battle for ZHU Yuling down 0-2. We've got some highlights for you in game number 3 coming up right after this.
Uncle Pop 2017 ITTF Women's World Cup of Table Tennis. And we're so happy we could bring the drama right here to Markham Center. I hope everybody's still happy. Everybody's still energetic. Come on. Put your hands in the air. 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 And clap, 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 clap. Oh boy. I'm ready for game 3. Are you ready for game 3? Everybody, somebody, everybody, scream.
And as the players come back into the court, game number 3 about to start. The doors officially shut. We've seen some doors kicked off the hinges recently in emotional matches at the Men's World Cup. LIU Shiwen, as emotional and fired up as she is, doesn't seem to have any anger. If she does, it's being taken out on the ball, but it's all very well calculated and focused. It's not anger, simply excitement, positive energy, motivation. How players convert their nerves. It's always quite interesting to see. Again, that long serve right into the backhand, bold play, but the point goes to ZHU Yuling to start off game number 3. This is a nice variation in the over-the-table play. Soft, a little bit of side spin shot to the middle. Now backhand to backhand, LIU Shiwen very smooth in her strokes. Even when I was watching Kasumi Ishikawa in the practice hall with her coach, what they were rehearsing was the very circular motion, scooping under the ball to make a backhand from out in front, covering the middle. This is something that LIU Shiwen does almost to perfection. Oh, right on the line, a little bit off the edge. But ZHU Yuling taking some risks here. A good start for the top seed who's trailing. Spinny arcing ball, and then the follow-up, just a bullet bending away. There is a lot of passion in this stadium right now. It's tough to tell who has home court advantage. That one's not coming back so wide. It's going to need the opposite spin or a different racket angle to come back from being turned that far away from the table. Wouldn't be the first time ZHU Yuling's won some points from behind the table, though. But I think it would be not the best idea. The percentages are definitely in LIU Shiwen's favor when ZHU Yuling gets behind the table like that. Inside out with the angle. LIU Shiwen's so quick to turn the corner. And over to the towel break. 2 quick points for LIU Shiwen. Stretching out the shoulder, making sure she's loose and fluid. Okay, LIU Shiwen fans win that battle. Now we've seen delay of game for the serving, but the fans here could completely stop the match just to see who has greater devotion. the allegiance to their players. What a great atmosphere for the players to be playing in and for the fans to show up to. If the standard is raised to this level on the World Tour, I think it'll be a sellout crowd for the rest of the year.
4-all.
What an exciting time to be watching table tennis live. It almost looked like LIU Shiwen was lipping ZHU for ZHU Yuling there. Just a coincidence that the stadium was cheering during that replay. Solid short game. Again, over the table, both players confident here. The amount of focus these players have to figure out their tactics for the next point. LIU Shiwen warned to play, please. In the middle of all these cheers and chants. Oh, man! ZHU Yuling explodes on that forehand. LIU Shiwen brings it back, and at the first opportunity, just gives a rocket of a backhand to win the point. It's a nice side angle view to see how fast the ball's actually traveling. Again, even in slow motion, it's just a blur of light. So as LIU Shiwen clips her hair, ZHU Yuling tries to keep her focus. Quick walk away from the table.
Net 5-all.
Oh, kick serve, and the ball
5.
jumps off the table. Again, LIU Shiwen, at 26 years old, has more experience than any other 26-year-old there is, as far as I know. So she's seen a lot of serves. She's seen a lot of kicking second bounces. Figures there must be something on the table. Now, interestingly enough, it could also be to protect the ego. This sounds funny, and I don't mean it in the sense of conceited, but simply just your confidence. Cookie, Alan Cook, the coach for the men's national team in England, read a book about protecting your confidence and why sometimes players will make excuses. It could have been the light, could have been a little bit off. Now, publicly in their interviews, they'll say the right thing. They'll be diplomatic, they'll be humble. Sometimes they'll tell themselves, I was having an off day, so that they keep their confidence in the next match. It could have been the same thing for LIU Shiwen clearing the table. Must have been something on the table, not me.
5-8.
So this is potentially the turning point. Being down 0-3 against LIU Shiwen is not impossible, but it's as close to impossible as you can get from a game standpoint. So getting a game here to be down 1-2. ZHU Yuling eyeing that out, but down the line backhand. We've seen it many times, parallel winners from LIU Shiwen. Oh, forehand flip. This serve is not easy, and remember, from a wingspan standpoint, LIU Shiwen's not especially tall, maybe 156 centimeters, 5'2" to the Americans. This serve to get in so quickly, barely even any follow through. This is experience. This is someone whose technique, every part of her body is working together to add to all the power she generates on that shot, and now just 1 point between the two of them. Oh, the touch shot just a little bit too low. Again, clearing the table, not happy with that second bounce. Must be something on the table, not me. Sometimes it's a question of convincing yourself. I think we all know that moment when someone tells us something, we feel that they don't believe themselves. throughout, you're watching this thinking, how can that possibly come back? And it comes back, sure enough, the backhand from way off balance. LIU Shiwen as fast as can be, and ZHU Yuling rushing through, covers it to leave it on the open table. Superhuman. I don't think you can get enough replays of this point. Have a moment of silence here for that point. 3 game points for ZHU Yuling to get her first game. And the deep push takes it 11-7. ZHU Yuling is on the scoreboard. It is the first game that LIU Shiwen has lost in this entire tournament. The first dent in her record. Credit check, ZHU Yuling on the other side of the table. 3 exciting first games. And we'll be back with game number 4 as the players think up their tactics and you get to enjoy some highlights. Women's World Cup Championship match, game 4 coming up right after this.
Right here at Markham tonight. It's anybody's game. It could go either way. The ZHU Yuling, 2017 Asian Cup winner, walking up here with the World Cup Championship. Or could LIU Shiwen add a 5th World Cup title to her collection? It's anybody's game, ladies and gentlemen. Anything can happen. I'm glad you're here with us. Let's go to game number 4. Do you want more?
And as the players come back for game number 4, it's tough to imagine better points than the ones we've already seen. If we didn't just witness in game number 3 the point of the tournament, I have a feeling it'll happen in the remainder of this match.
Suit to serve, level.
An unstoppable force meets an immovable object. It's one way to describe the championship match, the World Cup final between ZHU Yuling and LIU Shiwen. Oh, off the top of the net, it comes down on the table, recovered by ZHU Yuling, and that swatting flat hit from the forehand. Watch this one more time. Very rarely does someone hit it with a little rotation, but LIU Shiwen just enough side spin on it to bend it out of reach for ZHU Yuling. Again, at her height, that is not an easy ball. We've seen Kasumi Ishikawa spill out on the table trying to reach a ball right in near the net. Clever idea from ZHU Yuling, trying to keep the arm loose for such shots. I think floose was the term I invented accidentally earlier today. Fluid and loose. And after that high arcing spinny backhand, LIU Shiwen sort of rehearsing, shadow boxing it out. That low trajectory backhand drive. Big point again, she's fired up. A 3-1 lead changes everything. 2-2 after losing 2 games in a row. That means they're tied and ZHU Yuling would have momentum. That's end of the game stuff. But that's what, in some senses, the gravity of this situation comes down to and why every point is so important. This is fire, absolute fire. I mean, I've seen both of these players play a lot of matches. They're 2 of the best in the world, but they are testing each other to the fullest right now. It's like there's extra motivation. When people used to question Zhang Jiko, was he motivated, was he not? These are 2 players who I can't imagine being much more motivated than they are here today. The light at the end of the tunnel is bright and shiny. The Great Wall of China right there in black. I normally write down highlight points as contenders for the top 10. I think my pen has run out of ink already. I just don't have time. Every other point is incredible. this single match could be a top 10 video. If anyone has fear of missing out, it should be your friends who aren't watching right now. They are missing out. You are in the right place right now. Can't imagine a better sporting event on the planet at this moment. Forehand flip, and it's countered right back onto the table. Reaction time again from LIU Shiwen.
Play, please.
Oh, they have been. I mean, I completely agree with the call to keep them moving, but wow.
Let 4, 3.
There's the angle off the side of the table. Rare to sneak it past LIU Shiwen. Again, she doesn't have big wingspan, but she has such fast feet, and that makes up for it. The greatest female player in history by many people, I'd say by the opinions of many people, is Deng Yaping, who stood 150 centimeters tall, 5 feet even. Actually 4'11" to be specific. That's tiny. And I only bring that up to explain how important leg strength and fast feet and footwork is in table tennis. Pros and cons to being tall or short. Low center of gravity here. ZHU Yuling, the taller of the two, takes this point. So the ZHU Yuling fans got the last word in this point. The break between points, I should say.
4, 6.
Ooh, 2-point lead for ZHU Yuling. Now thinking through the long career of LIU Shiwen, how she's handled pressure, why we haven't seen her play the singles, the Olympic Games. Again, just uproarious reactions from the crowd. The reason that we haven't seen her play the Olympic Games is because when pressure gets turned up, the question is, will she crumble? There are two players in Olympic history from China, both Li Xiaoxia and Ding Ning, that have been proven against foreigners to deliver with much greater percentages. Maybe not much, but just enough that they were more secure for China.
6-all.
And as solid as LIU Shiwen is, having spent a long time at world #1 and in and out of that spot, still she's lost to foreigners here and there, and she's lost matches under pressure, even to Ding Ning. 2015 Suzhou Women's World Championships final. LIU Shiwen up 2-0 in game 7 when the ankle roll happened. And then after a 10-minute injury timeout, Ding Ning on an injured ankle wins the match in game 7 over LIU Shiwen. So despite a 2-point run, lead taken right back by ZHU Yuling. It's funny, LIU Shiwen has a lot of respect from her fans. The facial expression, the body language out there, is that of someone quite cool. Tyler Durden of table tennis out here. Ooh, a big show, a roar. ZHU Yuling, quite motivated, no question about it. We've seen it from both, but this is again possibly the tipping point. We will only know at the end of the match. And even then, we still won't really know. We'll just be speculating, thinking what's happening inside the heads of these players. A little bit off the top of the net, but no apology. A loud show I feel like unless it's a drastic edge, little clippings off the top of the net don't even count anymore for these two. If it's subtle enough, they figure, you know what, we can handle. And a very quiet clinch fist. 4 game points for ZHU Yuling to continue her streak. From down 0-2, just as we talked about earlier, to tie it up at 2 games apiece with momentum and broken confidence on the other side of the table. We will see. 26 years old, experienced, a long history in that head for LIU Shiwen. Oh, the big swinging backhand misses after all this corner-to-corner action. ZHU Yuling still with 3 game points. It's a fine balance between being aggressive, being overly anxious to finish something. I don't know what that qualifies as, but either way, she doesn't contact the ball. Second serve here. Oh my goodness. Does not come down on the edge. Top of the net just misses. I had to watch to see if they were leaving or if they were going for the towel box. So close. One. I'd love to see that from another angle. Hopefully we'll get to see that in the highlights. Wow, was that close. It was in ultimate table tennis in the Premier League in India that Marcos Freitas spotted one thing that nobody else in the tournament spotted. Not the players themselves nor the umpires. Very subtle missed call.
Net 8-10.
And I should include myself in that. I didn't notice it. Sharth Kamal didn't notice it. So sometimes these things get by. Oh, the push right at the back of the table leaves LIU Shiwen in trouble. ZHU Yuling 11-8 ties up the score, levels the playing field. And we'll see who takes the lead in game number 5 after a very tight game number 1. A lot of excitement left and the fans so thrilled to be here to see. Again, highlights will roll shortly in game number 5 to follow. Stay right here.
I want to see where are my true fans, where are my true supporters? All the people who are supporting ZHU Yuling, make some noise. All the people supporting LIU Shiwen, make some noise. If you love table tennis, I want to hear you scream. Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's about love, it's about passion. These athletes have passion, and I know you fans in here, you all have passion. We're so glad you could be part of this landmark event being held in Canada. Everybody's happy. Both athletes, they're still very much alive as we go into game number 5.
So the players back for game number 5 after being in their corners, planning out what they're going to do here. I think the question is for LIU Shiwen, how can she make the game just like it was in the start of game 1? Crisp off the bounce backhands. I think serve and receive really are the most important part here to set up the points. It's tough not to laugh in amazement at how fast the ball's coming back and forth here between these two. Very few players in the world can hang in this rally as long as the other one has. One of my favorite matches this tournament was Chun Tzu-Yu versus Du Hoi Kim. But I feel like there's a new favorite already.
1-all.
Looking like a boxer out here trying to stay loose. This game is crucial for LIU Shiwen to take back control here, grab the reins. Not easy to do, but from right at the back of the table, managing to brush up on the ball. It's tough because you don't have your legs behind you quite the same way as when it comes off the table. Oh, burned. Hung out to dry on the backhand corner. Thought she had won the points. Very rare at this level between these two to see someone who's so satisfied with their shot that they don't try. That's tough. I mean, that's just out of reach. Maybe that's another way to describe it. She was moving back to the center of the table, but right off the bat just realized there's no chance. She might pull a muscle trying to go for it.
2-all.
Every single point. I think this is the most vocal match I've heard from either of these players. And again, they've been quite present as the big four from China tend to be on the world tour. It's always interesting to know what title means the most to these players. Ooh, deep at the back edge of the table. Is that what ZHU Yuling was pointing at? Was she saying edge? If so, LIU Shiwen just cholaying. Wow. Yep, back edge. Ooh, a little bit shallower on the table. The bounce sneaks under the racket of LIU Shiwen. See this one more time. Yeah, that bounce is way inside the baseline compared to usual. Stays quite low. I wouldn't be surprised to see her wipe off the table. Maybe we already did before. First towel break of game 5, and they're dead even. I was going to say exactly where the crowd wants, but half of the crowd, well, half of the crowd is behind one player and half is behind the other. Maybe LIU Shiwen's got 60-40, who knows?
Left. 3-all.
She's definitely had a longer career to build her fan club. And titles too. This one's not coming back down.
4.
Again, if you think LIU Shiwen has trouble against lobs or fishing, just watch her when the points are for real. Deep on the table, a little bit of side spin and the inside-out forehand to finish the point. To have that confidence to put so much side spin on it, even her follow-through, she keeps her balance, recoils quickly. This is a perfect shot from ZHU Yuling from under the table. Spins it right to the middle. That's probably the closest I've seen to someone exposing LIU Shiwen's middle. Does it qualify? Yeah, probably. Look at this one more time. Down low to the net, just a little bit more to the center of the table, and LIU Shiwen has to lean to take that forehand. The off-balance shot quite challenging. Tied up at 4 points apiece. Right off the bounce again, the bending backhand. It fires me up to see both players so fired up here. One of the most exciting things in sports is watching players who want it so bad that their complete demeanor changes on the court. Trying to crack the knees out there, stay loose. The conditioning, a lot of people forget, but these players, from running to weights and everything else that they have to do, it's more important for them to keep the blood flowing sometimes just to make sure they don't cramp up or get tight. The exercise they do between points is far from making them tired. Nice short stroke forehand from the back of the table. LIU Shiwen edging out into the lead by 1 once again. ZHU Yuling with that subtle serve, much like Zheng Yiqing's serve, not much follow through. This is not a coincidence that the top players are doing that. To all the table tennis fans at home, something else to add to your game, to practice the subtle serves. Oh, high arcing ball deep to the backhand corner. freezes up LIU Shiwen. This is a moment of indecision. If she tries to step around and play an inside-out forehand, the ball comes back on the table. She's got 90% of the table uncovered. Soft hands right at the back of the table once again. One step forward, one for ZHU Yuling, and then one back into the lead. It's like the right foot and the left foot when you're walking upstairs slowly. This time she goes for broke, steps completely around, leaves the whole table open and says, you know what? I've got to make it count on this shot right here. I can hit it quality enough. This one's not coming back. I'll take my chances. Chole. 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 I don't think I can go any lower than that. 2-point lead now for LIU Shiwen to set apart the two. The tipping point we talked about. We haven't seen a timeout from either player. Not that I can recall anyway. I don't see anything on the electronic board down there. It's times like this that we might see a timeout from LIU Shiwen. If not here, if she loses this point, to hang on to the lead. Again, without a coach in the corner, timeouts tend to come a little bit later in the match. Players quite focused on playing. Wow!
10-7.
The serve so bold in the follow-up third ball attack. I mean, we've seen how many shots ZHU Yuling can keep in play with power. So in a tough moment here, bold play from the four-time Women's World Cup title holder. 3 game points for a 3-2 lead. Oh, 2 bold serves in a row. After a little break off the net. It's the 3rd towel break of the game. LIU Shiwen still has not crossed the finish line in game number 5. Oh, no flash, they're cheering now. There's a flash on the other side of the hall. They're pointing it out. All right. Someone just shouted, shame on you. That might be accurate. Not commonly said. 2 game points for LIU Shiwen. Ooh, ZHU Yuling saves, what a save, and here's the timeout. LIU Shiwen says, I need to capture this game. From 10-7, a 3-point lead and 2 points the other way on the comeback. She's quickly to the corner. She'll probably have a seat in the chair for a moment. Maybe not, just checking to make sure there's no wardrobe malfunction. A little bit of hydration. Not just cleansing of the palate and the mouth, but the thoughts as well. Tactically speaking, water on the hands to remove the sweat. Interesting. I don't know if I've seen that. If I have, I just haven't really been noting it. So what's it gonna take? LIU Shiwen started this match with the serve, so that means she's starting games 1, 3, and 5 with the serve, which means she's on the receive here. It's a little bit of quick math from 10-8, odd multiple of 2. Second serve for ZHU Yuling. So LIU Shiwen planning the receive here. It'd be hilarious after all this talking if they come out and I'm wrong, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. LIU Shiwen has taken many risks throughout this match. And right now, this game, you know, I'm gonna keep saying that. It just gets thicker and thicker. The plot,
9-10.
this could be the determining factor, but in the end, it comes down to game 7, does it? Comes down to match point, no matter when it happens. No match is won without a match point. Oh, the soft shot, a break off the top of the net for ZHU Yuling. No apology. A touch shot from LIU Shiwen. Look at this. This is such a difficult ball. She plays it incredibly well right near the table, but isn't able to move in for the softer shot after. Ball left out in front just a little bit. Wow. Table tennis typically a pretty polite sport. Maybe that's changing. These two are fighting. Deuce in game 5. There's got to be another word for wow. The highlights reel is just going to be overwhelmed with wow. That forehand, the step around, it takes 2 here. Yuling's gotten many back, but it's game point once again. 4th game point for LIU Shiwen. She's away from the table. Wouldn't be surprised to hear a play, please. ZHU Yuling says it hits the edge. Ooh, I do not know. I didn't hear it if it did. I heard it, she says, ting da dong. Ting dao. 12-10 is the call. Challenge, does that exist? Not yet. Future of table tennis. 12-10. Just a little bit. LIU Shiwen says no. Let's watch the replay. LIU Shiwen's willing to look up at the screen, and I love that. But now she's walking back to the corner. She's like, I'm sorry, the call has been made. ZHU Yuling says video replay. Technically, that's not part of the sport yet. We can watch it now. I don't know if they'll allow it to factor in. Ooh, I think it did. Ooh, it looks like it did. It's so tough from this angle. I don't know if we can get a side angle from that. Wow. This is tough to let go. This is so tough. ZHU Yuling says we saw it. I mean, if this is the crowd voting, it seems like the crowd feels pretty confident that it did hit the back edge of the table. Wow, she is not giving up on this. I understand. I mean, it takes persistence for athletes to get to this level. It's not a coincidence that Zhang Jike has persistence written on the wings of his shoulder blades in tattooed ink. This is what it takes to get to this level. Maybe that's the best camera angle we have, but it's got the crowd in an uproar here. Man. It sure looks like it. I didn't hear it. ZHU Yuling did. ZHU Yuling wants an appeal. The conversation, wow. This gets really intense. The body language, ZHU Yuling saying, just look at the screen. This is so uncomfortable.
Please. 2.
So that was for the listening. We were trying to hear the sound. It was so fast in real time. The scoreboard says 3-2, and ZHU Yuling is out of the court. She's called the tournament referee, or maybe the deputy, to see if she can get an opinion on that. Now, generally speaking, the deputy referee will stand behind the umpire. It's a matter-of-fact call. What was witnessed by the umpire, that's how it goes down. 3-2 for LIU Shiwen. And you know what? This is the type of focus LIU Shiwen needs. I think she did give it a chance. She looked up at the screen. She had a conversation with ZHU Yuling. But it is calls like that that will get the crowd a bit behind ZHU Yuling. They feel like they can take justice into their own hands. And the timeout. This is a good call for ZHU Yuling. Mentally, you know, the mental game, the focus is arguably the most important thing in table tennis at this level. I think it was Jonathan Groth who said in our Ask a Pro Anything interview, you've got thousands of players around the world who can loop the ball with power time and time again. But mentally, to stay focused under pressure, to recognize your opponent's strengths and weaknesses, and especially their weaknesses, but both really, to know what to avoid and where to aim. And I'm not just talking about literally aim, but what your tactics should be. Require unbelievable focus, and to a sellout crowd, ZHU Yuling clearly lost a little bit of focus at the end of last game. And it's a very prestigious title here. If we take a look at the last 10 years of winners, you can see Miu Hirano, when there were no Chinese players last year, broke records. But now that two players are here from the most powerful nation table tennis has known in the modern era, it's of course the top two players from China in the final as expected. But Liu Shiwen's name is all over this since 2009 in Guangzhou. 4 titles, not a single match lost. And fair enough, I think Liu Shiwen has handled it quite well. Every once in a while, we see something that looks like it's I'd say questionable sportsmanship, but not here. That is not this. Liu Shiwen did give a look. She did have the conversation, and the umpires agreed. She didn't hear it. It's tough not to argue when you feel confident that the ball didn't hit and your opponent feels that it did. It's one of the toughest things when you feel absolutely sure that you're right. To be open to being wrong. It's character, and Liu Shiwen did look up at the screen and she did have the conversation. She looked to other people to hear what they thought. Mid-chole. That's how important winning the point is. The ball could be hitting you square in the chest, and you don't care because you won the point. Could have hit her in the forehead. She would have just blinked. We saw that yesterday with Liu Shiwen. I'm just trying to remember a moment. I want to say this is the most fired up I can recall seeing Liu Shiwen. Ooh, the brows are low. This is focus.
4-2.
She is so determined. You know, we watch some of the most expressive players in table tennis, Matilda Ekholm, when she's frustrated, you can see her jabbing the racket at high speed into her quad out of frustration. And while that expression is not out here from Liu Shiwen, I feel the sentiment is almost the same. Same with that second guessing. I should have punched it back. I should have countered with the backhand. Oh, and a service error. Happens to the best of them. We've seen them all. Service error. And especially with the precision. That's right at the white at the top of the net, but it doesn't climb over. 1 point game. Well. The timeout. I almost forgot there's so much happening in this match. It is so dramatic. It's tough not to get ahead of ourselves and think about what the titles would mean for either of these players. But remember, ZHU Yuling made a responsible call for a timeout when she was distracted and has really turned around the scoreboard. What, 0-2, I think the timeout was? So the men's singles final at the World Championships was a match that just really raised the standard of the game, but this match right here, it's just tough to imagine better table tennis. I can't wait to see the ITTF Star Award nominations. Big backhand, quick off the bounce. The timing of LIU Shiwen steps her back into the lead by 1. She's right there waiting.
Play, please.
No, a second service error. And it's not like it happened in game 1 and again in game 6. Watch this service error. You could see the contact there, and you could see her reaction. The dimples come out a little bit with that wry smile to try to get her through. Stepping into the lead and then giving it right back. A little charity, the dimples come out again. Blowing on the hand to keep it cool and dry, the hand that holds the racket. Wow.
7-6.
Well, the crowd has already gotten way more than their money's worth, but if this goes to game 7, a little bit off the top of the net, but it doesn't bother ZHU Yuling. I can't even remember who had the top of the net or if that's the proper sentence. Let's see it one more time here. Too tough to tell. The sound really helped in that, but it's so fast from that angle. So 2 service errors in the same game. And a difference of 2 points between them. That red light. Beautiful parallel backhand to bring it within 1. Clever idea, really quick, but the positioning of LIU Shiwen, she manages to generate so much spin without getting her body behind it from a little bit off to the side. Right back in it, 8 points each. Man, that red light came up even in the replay at the end of the point before. Table tennis fans around the world, it's exciting to get pictures from the front row, but check your lights. Yeah, that one. Maybe I'm just the most sensitive person ever, but the players have to imagine they notice. Back into the lead, 3 in a row for LIU Shiwen. She's been questioned under pressure, not given the chance to represent China in singles at the Olympic Games. But real mental toughness out here over her younger opponent, ZHU Yuling. Tied back up, 3rd towel break of the game. ZHU Yuling quick to get over to the towel. Remember, ZHU Yuling is world rank number 2. She's the top seed. She's 4 years younger than LIU Shiwen. She's the future generation. Her and Chun Meng will be in the same position that Ding Ning and LIU Shiwen are in now, 4 years from now. So many young up-and-coming players to fill the roles. We'll talk about that later. 9 points apiece. No, and it's ZHU Yuling who takes it. With all the pressure coming in, there's no telling who's going to win these points. Mental focus, staying on top of the bounce. The feet come together for just a moment and trying to change it up with the parallel. Look at this. The balance that ZHU Yuling regains after leaning back to save that shot earns her game point. Suspended, she's hanging on by a thread, and LIU Shiwen cannot beat her with the forehands on top of the bounce. Way behind the table, covering the middle there, and look at this one more time, closes the racket and plays it out to the wide forehand to send this in to a deciding game number 7. This is almost too much. The bar is being raised game after game. Remember the controversy? Remember that? To set a 3-2 lead to LIU Shiwen's favor, that feels like it was yesterday. That's how much action is coming out here. 2 points again between the two of them. I'm gonna take a breath for a minute, and they're gonna take a moment to plan out game number 7. Enjoy some highlights in a few moments. Game number 7, the decider, coming up right after this.
Seventh game, LIU to serve,
So we're back for game number 7. Now, while it's important to be present right now, just a little bit of a flashback to earlier this year, the Asian Cup. Game number 7, ZHU Yuling wins 11-6 over LIU Shiwen. These rallies, the bar, it's like it's hit the ceiling and the ceiling keeps cracking open. There is no limit to how strong these points are becoming, to how much they can raise their level right now. This is why their stamina, their conditioning has to be so good, because when it comes down to the very end, the last game of the tournament, that they can keep pushing, that they don't have to be concerned about energy level at all. That's why the human body has adrenaline. I think about all the ITTF YouTube videos that I love to share on my Facebook page. From the top 10, this match alone will be viral. The highlights of this match will be a match that is shared for a long time to come. Still have a few weeks before the German Open. I think there's enough entertainment in this match alone to last the world that long. Oh, beautiful blindsiding shot. The parallel surprises ZHU Yuling. She's set up on the other side. I'd say she's a little bit more right-winged in that point. Quick decision. Knowing your opponent, knowing the patterns, knowing what they're expecting.
Net, 1-2.
Can't recall service errors from ZHU Yuling. If it's happened in this match, it's been overshadowed by the 2 recent service errors of LIU Shiwen. Wow, shovel serve looks like top inside. Not as much top on it. LIU Shiwen's got it in her pocket. Just the ball, not the match.
Net, 2-all.
Very faint net, just scraping the top of the net there. Second let service. Looks like it comes off the hand there. Again, for those of you newer to table tennis, the hand holding the racket is legit if it hits the hand and comes into play. So that's between the wrist and the fingertips of the hand holding the racket. From that close-up, it didn't appear. Tough to know. Either way, the shot misses. ZHU Yuling in the lead. Not for long, back dead even again. First towel break of game number 7. Threes, you're under arrest. Threes all over the board. It's funny, I didn't mean for the arrest pun as they were resting for the towel, so genuinely unintended. A little bit of humor for this moment here because this has been incredibly intense. A little bit of relief. Deep on the table, that's going to be a tough shot to put past ZHU Yuling. Can feel the pressure. That's one of those facial expressions we've seen today from LIU Shiwen, but not so much before. Not that I can recall. Tongue out. First, the shoulder shrug. ZHU Yuling is going to switch sides of the table with the lead by 2 points. It's game number 7, so if you're newer to table tennis, to keep things even, an even amount of time on each half of the table, no advantage based on which side you start on, or as little advantage as possible. The deciding game they switch. ZHU Yuling up by 2. And it's game 7, so LIU Shiwen starts the game with the serve, and right now at 8 total points played, has the serve back again.
Net 3-5. Net 3-5.
With a bold long serve, the shots to follow just don't feel like they have the intensity that LIU Shiwen has brought to the match. And that was her gentle version of Matilda Ekholm's anger, hitting the quad. But really in this point, it almost seemed like she wasn't sure if she should come in with the explosive power, if she should try to change the pace a little bit. And that indecision seemed to cost her. And this time the powerful shots, only one in there that was a little bit off balance. Everything else was as fast as could be from the backhand side. Still hanging on, but trailing behind. It's ZHU Yuling, the captain right now of this boat. LIU Shiwen just water skiing makes it sound too much fun, but she's behind the boat, that's for sure. Generally, people water skiing are quite happy. People losing 4-6 in game 7, not quite as much. Big point here, 1-point game. No timeouts left. The expressions start to come out and the frustrations are really showing. This match has had it all. I think just shy of a chop. Controversy at the end of game number 5. Frustration from both, the most vocal playing. Chose where we would once find apologies. And with all that pressure coming in, ZHU Yuling feels it, tries to bring it back, quick to her towel, a 3-point run for LIU Shiwen after she loses the first point on this side of the table. She's won 75% of the points on that side of the table in this game. Deep in thought. The momentum is on LIU Shiwen's side, but she's got the serves now. Remember, LIU Shiwen has served 2 balls into the net in the late end of this match. Oh! And this is why you need high-risk serves. Something that's a little bit lukewarm, and ZHU Yuling quickly steps in. Receive and turns for a 4th ball, no messing around. For all you procrastinators out there, a very human habit to have. ZHU Yuling killed that habit in that point. No procrastination there. Drying off the hand that will toss the ball. Spinny ball to the middle. Wow. I'm just trying to do Lamaze or some sort of breathing pattern to make sure I don't faint before the end of this match. Fans watching at home can relate, in the stadium as well. It's got to be tough for the players right now, but watching this. That was close to the first service error that I can recall seeing from ZHU Yuling, but it stays on the table. This time it gets through. ZHU Yuling saves so many shots in this rally. When you talk about never giving up and the point isn't over until it's over, this is the type of points that LIU Shiwen demonstrates. You really have to hang in there for every ball, waiting on the backhand corner with the forehand attack. Just really so focused in case she has to chase the ball to the wide forehand. The way ZHU Yuling won game number 6. So LIU Shiwen 2 points away from setting a record, a world record, creating a precedent that has never been seen. She was down 3 points to 6 in game number 7. She was up 3 games to 2 with the controversy at the end of game 5 for deuce, a 12-10 victory. Big point here to break the streak. Before that point, LIU Shiwen had won 6 out of the last 7 points. Consider that. This is an overwhelming percentage for LIU Shiwen. But in the short game, pops it up a little bit. And LIU Shiwen with that relatively abbreviated forehand stroke for a wide shot. Leaves the racket out in front to finish the point. Second serve, LIU Shiwen's either going to have 2 game points or have her opponent with 2 serves at 9-all. And it's the latter of the 2. ZHU Yuling has the advantage. 3rd towel break of the game. And when you look back at choosing to serve or receive, there are pros and cons to both, but choosing to receive, and I can't remember who chose what, but the fact that ZHU Yuling was on the receive from the start of this match means that she will have the last 2 serve combination that either player will have. Advantage to ZHU Yuling. Fair enough to say, dries her hand in a tense moment. The cup will be determined by a mere 2-point lead. Match point to LIU Shiwen! Chasing it as it comes off the corner. ZHU Yuling cannot convert the serve to a point. Covering the middle. Forced into the middle again. Racket head straight up. The backhand does not pay off to cover. LIU Shiwen 1 point away from maintaining her perfect record in the Women's World Cup history. Save match points. This is just world class and then some. Talk about nerves of steel. As fast as the feet are of LIU Shiwen, she can't chase it down when it's that wide. Deuce in game number 7. They will be alternating serves, and now it's LIU Shiwen with the serve under pressure. And it goes long. Championship point to ZHU Yuling. Watching LIU Shiwen hit her head, we don't know what the outcome of this match will be, but you have to feel for her. Again, ZHU Yuling, championship point with the serve. She takes it back! Unbelievable finish! ZHU Yuling gets the hardest shot we've seen on the step around, and she steals the match at deuce in game number 7. A legendary performance. This will not be forgotten anytime soon. It will go down in history as one of the greatest women's matches of all times. The top seed, ZHU Yuling, at 22 years old, breaks the flawless record of LIU Shiwen. And if there's gonna be a record set by LIU Shiwen, it will not be here today, but history is created by ZHU Yuling. Unbelievable comeback. Drama of the highest order. Look at the scoreboard for the last 3 games. Only 2 points to decide. I cannot believe what we just witnessed. Going for broke, stepping around and hitting it that hard, and ZHU Yuling, the Great Wall of China, keeps it in play. And now for some words for the Women's World Cup champion here live on court.
2017 Women's World Cup champion, how does it feel?
首先恭喜你拿下世界杯的女单冠军，现在感觉怎么样？
我想现在心情，我觉得还是很紧张吧啊！我觉得今天的比赛自己，还是因为紧张，我觉得我都眼睛都出现一些失误吧。对，我觉得现在这一刻很开心。
I still feel very nervous now, and because of nervous, I made some mistakes during the match, but I'm happy to win the title.
Excellent, excellent. And of course, you were victorious here in Canada, and of course, Markham and the greater Toronto area. We know how to have fun. We know how to party. How are you going to celebrate?
恭喜你在加拿大万锦市这个地方拿下冠军。那接下来会怎么庆祝？
我想自己稍微开心一会儿吧，因为自己回国还会有比赛，所以这场比赛还值得自己好好去总结吧。
I still have many matches when I back to Canada. Well, sorry, when I back to China, and I still have a lot to learn from this match. But I'm still very happy.
Well, wonderful stuff. Great to hear. We're glad that you had a wonderful victory right here at the Pan Am Center in Markham. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together one more time for your 2017 Women's World Cup champion, ZHU Yuling.
Well, the celebration is started as Amy has her arm around ZHU Yuling. What a performance. This is a match to go back and watch time and time again, and she touches ground after blocking back. Just an incredible shot.